Nope.
All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision, brought to you from the Ruloff Family Inc. studios. Bueller, Dodge, and Dennis ready to break you off some mixed martial arts knowledge. Of course, go over UFC 210 from last week. Look forward to the fights that are happening this weekend. We got a Bellator, we got an Ultimate Fight Night, and lots of news coming at you this week, including some other stuff that sprung up from UFC 210 as well.
Way to go, Bubbles. That's cute. Yeah, we're bored.
So first up from MyMMAnews.com, it's Holly Holm.
Holly Holm is going back down to bantamweight to take on Correia in Singapore as your main event, June 17th.
All right.
What do you think about this? I mean, obviously she didn't get the title, so now she moves back down to 135. You think she's just going to jump back and forth, 135, 145, whatever fight comes her way, and is
I think that's probably the smart thing to do.
Or do you think she's going to go for another title?
I think if she'll go for another title, obviously if there's an availability for it. So we're looking at her. She's going down to 135. She went up to 145. What's a more natural weight for her is my question.
Well, I mean, she's been fighting in 135. Obviously, her whole UFC career until this last fight. I think in boxing, she fluctuated in weight classes. Same thing in kickboxing. Yeah. So,
do we have an option for her to go down to 125? I guess would be my next question. Or is that too light?
We don't have a division there yet, but it's something we talked about.
Coming.
Doing.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's going to happen, maybe eventually, even though Dana said no.
Which means it's going to
yes.
happen.
That means yes.
I like that. Also, I mean, we'll get to that when he was chastising the media for covering the whole boobgate thing. It's saying that, if you don't hear it from us, it's not true. You guys are reporting false shit. And then someone's like, it came from the Athletic Commission? They told us. Well, I didn't know that.
No, that was after he said, I know about everything that comes out. Yeah. There's nothing that comes out that I don't know about.
Yeah, and then
except for that.
It says someone's well, the Athletic Commission is the one who told us. Well, I didn't see that. And then he says, you guys are doing all these fake stories. You're doing all this stuff, like... and then the Athletic Commission does a great job here in New York, and then he goes on to say it's back like it's 2001, man, where the Athletic Commission needs to learn how to do things.
Well, we've seen Dan. That's what we know about Dana. He contradicts himself on a regular basis.
Cool, that's why
the joke is if Dana says something is not going to happen, it's probably going to happen sooner than later.
Yeah.
No, I think Holly Holm, if I remember right, I mean she didn't even get into mixed martial arts until she was older, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so I mean, good for her because she's very talented.
She's now 10-3 in mixed martial arts, by the way.
And she's been a champion, so I think that she should absolutely take any fight she could get because she's very talented, and we don't know how much time we're going to have left for her in mixed martial arts, and I'd like to see as much of her as we can.
So, how do you think she goes up against Betch?
I think this is a great fight.
Betch is never going to turn down a striking match.
No,
that girl loves to throw.
I don't think she's going to turn down a match.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Holly Holm's a little more talented on the feet and a little more crisp and a little smarter. And I think she's going to take that fight. Maybe we'll break it down as it gets closer, but
I think it's going to be for the time that it's going to be standing up because I don't think it's going to be standing up for much of the entire fight. I think it's going to be lightning in a bottle with these two going back and forth until I agree with you. We'll talk about it when we get closer. But yeah, Holly Holm with her boxing skills and her boxing background, her kickboxing background, all that stuff might be a little too much for Betch to take, but it should be a good match until it's over.
We have the story about Mikey Burnett. Remember back in February of last year, he was shot 3 times in the stomach during an attempted robbery while leaving his gym in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The person who did this, Harold Thompson, who's 17, has received 30-year sentences for 2 counts of assault and battery with a deadly weapon and attempted firearm. Sentences are served concurrently, which means it'll be a 5-year term on the 5th conviction. Basically, this guy is going to jail for 35 years.
At the age of 17.
At the age of 17. In adult, pound you in the ass prison.
Yeah. Make good choices.
Make good choices.
Better grab a motherfucking pocket as soon as you get there.
Yeah. And go in with your prison wallet full. Make that money. Fill that prison wallet.
To the brim.
Yeah. A couple cell phones.
Hey, we've seen it.
Half a pack of Bugler.
Yeah. You got tobacco rolled up tight.
Nice and tight.
If you can get some tattoo needles up there, that makes people happy too,
that
man.
Makes people cigarettes. Lots of cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
UFC Today announced that the 6th annual UFC International Fight Week will be taking place Wednesday, July 5th through July 8th, having 2 live events in 2 nights. They're also going to have the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, their Ultiman 5K, and as well as the fan experience. So we'll get to go ahead and see that. Coming off of that, we have...
we're going to go to that one of these days,
I know,
man.
we keep talking about it. Uriah Faber is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame in the... What is it? The modern wing era.
I like it.
Do you like it?
I mean, him not having any UFC gold doesn't mean he's not. He's the people's champ, man.
I mean, he did win in the WC. He was the featherweight champion.
Yeah. He's been around. He was an innovator. He's a household name.
Yep.
The guy's been doing it. He transcended like not I don't want to say the dark ages, but I'd say the middle ages of mixed martial arts into the modern day.
Yeah, for sure.
And he was always very, very much with the fans. And
he was the very first, in my opinion, little guy, like smaller weight class guy that really took off big and then became a household name.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember back in the day when like the super fight for WEC was Uriah Faber versus Miguel Torres. We never got that one, but like it was like we wanted to see these guys fight because they were super talented.
Super dominant in WEC as well.
Yeah.
So Thursday, July 6th, you'll have the Hall of Fame. Friday, July 7th, the Ultimate Fighter will have its 25th season. Basically, the finale will be on that day. And then we'll have July 8th, we will have UFC 213. So
okay. And as we always say when we talk about Uriah Faber, if you've never seen his interview where he talks about getting in a fight in the Philippines, you have to go look that up.
It's amazing.
Oh,
I think somebody's animated it now.
It's awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I saw somebody animated now,
that.
but I'm not 100% sure.
Tommy Toho, get on it, man.
Yeah. There's also another story where he watched the mayor of Sacramento beat somebody up or almost beat somebody up at the Sacramento airport.
Really?
Yeah, and he stood by, but he's like giving you the play-by-play while it's happening. It's hilarious.
Nice.
So just about a year ago, we had that unfortunate event in the Irish MMA where João Carvalho passed away during his mixed martial, just after his mixed martial arts bout. They have since put together this thing called Safe MMA. It was created by Professor Dan Healy, a neurologist and consultant of Ireland's Bournemouth Hospital. They are now basically pushing to get regulation in Ireland. They're saying, that we need regulation in Ireland. All these events now have been voluntarily being used, the Safe MMA sort of regulation or sort of organization to help them run a safe bout. However, they don't have to. They're trying to get the government to step in and make sure that they have safety standards, just like they do in other countries. And John Kavanagh, which is Conor McGregor's coach, as well as retired strawweight fighter Aisling Daly, has come forward and again spoken with government and the Irish Sports Council to try to make it a recognized sport and make sure that it's safe.
Is it
something they're definitely pushing?
Is
towards.
boxing in Ireland regulated by the government?
I believe so. Yeah, I think it's just MMA does not fall under the combat sports as far as regulation goes. So they're constantly pushing and trying to get the regulation.
I mean, we've seen
hopefully
some pretty crazy stuff with
this happens.
The mandatory brain scans and stuff in other countries that they do that have actually caught life-threatening illnesses. We've showed them on the show before. That it might end somebody's career before it even begins, but at the same time, it saves their life, so it's kind of worth it. We're still learning as we go, man. I mean, football's still learning as they go. So hopefully, we can do whatever we can do to make this as safe.
Yeah, but I mean, we
as
still,
possible.
even with all the scanning and everything we got, didn't we have like an everyday house mom fight like a super MMA fighter
again in a non-sanctioned fight? This was something that was on the casino grounds where they don't have authority.
Yeah, the soccer mom fight.
Yeah, the soccer mom fight. That's why everyone threw big arms. Like, we need to figure out regulation, especially on some of these places.
I don't know. That was her own fault. She bit off more than she could chew. She was like, "This is stupid. Anybody can do this. Watch, I'll show you, Jimmy. You think you can fight?
I've
at
lost
school?
my last 3. It's all right.
You think you can fight at school and not have any consequences? I'll show you what fighting's like. I can get in a fight. Watch.
Yeah, and then like I hear like they got some guy who can barely like really hit the heavy bag, and he's gonna fight some guy who's got like 49 fights and never lost.
Hey, if you're in a sovereign ground.
No, this is like a big fight. Like they're supposedly going to get $1 billion for this fight.
I'm missing something. I don't know what I'm missing, but I'm missing something. Wait,
Yeah.
I got it.
You got it? That fight might not ever happen, so I'm just saying.
That sailed so far over my head, dude. So far. Like,
Hey, for all you playing along, if you know what I'm talking about, hold 2 fingers up. There you go.
ground control to Bueller. What the shit? That was terrible.
Number 2, UFC.
I was like my head was going to the fight. My head was going to the fight in Florida where they're going to have the special needs people fight each other, and that got shut down. Obviously,
I don't know if you've ever heard Conor and Mayweather talk. That might be the fight. That might be the type fight you're talking about.
No, that's Florida.
Let's go.
All right, I'm just saying.
Number 2 lightweight, Tony Ferguson says he wants a fight, but his pickings are slim. He can't find a fight.
He's fighting Slim Pickens. Pickens?
Yeah, he's fighting Slim Pickens. Obviously, we have Khabib and Nurmagomedov dropped out of their fight due to weight cutting issues.
And we don't even know what he's doing.
Ramadan,
fighting bears.
Ramadan is keeping him out until June.
I love their music.
So they can't fight there. We have obviously
Sold out show.
Eddie Alvarez is
Ramadan.
fighting Dustin Poirier later next month. You got Dos Anjos is moving to welterweight. Shizia is fighting Kevin Lee. So there's not a lot.
2 wings.
So who did he call out? He called out Nate Diaz. He says Nate needs to come fight. He's like, I'm from the 805, the Oxnard area.
I'm not surprised, motherfucker.
I think he's from the 209. Let's have this battle for California. Let's make this happen. He needs to either step up and take the fights, or he needs to retire.
I like the 805 beer.
You gotta watch out. Nate might drop a right across your chin.
He's saying,
happen.
obviously, Nate Diaz is just chilling. You can see on his Instagram that him and his brother are going to be at the, what do we got here? We have the Point Loma
Point Loma?
Patent Consumer Co-op. They're going to be at the Co-op. They're also going to be
The Cannabis Cup?
at the Cannabis Cup from High Times. They got a lot of things going on, obviously, that they counting his money that he just made. So he's saying, stop going for the quick money. Let's make fights that are actually fights like you wanted back in the day. Either put up or shut up. Otherwise, you should retire because you're not in this for fighting like you say you are. What do you think? I think this is a great fight.
I want him to come back. I think it'd be a great fight, too. I want both of them to come back. Nick's Instagram has been full of triathlon training and triathlon competing. He's not even focused on fighting at all, from what I understand.
Not anytime soon, yeah.
Not in a negative way. He's just like, I don't care, whatever. They get the right amount of money, they'll come back. We know that about the Diaz brothers.
Dude,
Yeah.
I heard the craziest rumor, and I know it's just complete bullshit, but that both Diaz brothers and Dana go to Bellator.
They what?
They go to
Exactly.
They go to events? I know for a fact Dana White's been seen at the events.
No, but I'm just saying.
There's pictures of him and the Diaz brothers. That's no surprise.
I thought you meant like actually go to the roster.
No, I'm serious. Like, sign with him, because there's a couple websites that's saying that, I don't even know who's the WMIE or whatever.
WME.
Yeah.
That they just put it out for a loan for over $100 million to cover losses at this point for some of their events.
Really? Interesting.
Because I guess their last 2 events, they paid more out in salary than they made at the gate.
Well, I mean, we've talked about already that Bellator seems to us to be Strikeforce 2.0. I mean,
Yeah,
Scott Coker
without a
is
doubt.
Oh, yeah,
is captaining that ship. In fact, we had a if you go on My MMA News, Eric had one of his cronies, one of his new writers, write a whole story about how they feel. They'd be obviously listening to the show.
We don't feel like you're cronies.
No, yeah. Now they're listening to our show. They wrote this story about how they also
They're
feel
great writers.
that they're Strikeforce 2.0. So
If you're in California, cronies is good.
they're talking about it.
we call them crow hoes.
I mean, they're putting on fights that fans kind of want to see. I mean,
yeah.
some of it. They're doing some of the Legend Division stuff. They're doing some competitive stuff. You have to think.
and they just got the green light from who's the owner of
Viacom?
Viacom.
Yeah, they got the green light from Viacom because they pulled in 1.65
To spend money.
Yeah.
And so if you think about Scott Coker, who had Strikeforce, he had guys like the Diaz brothers. He had Robbie Lawler. He had Luke Rockhold. He had Tim Kennedy. He had Gegard Mousasi. He
Right.
had Jacare. He had a bunch of great fighters. They were putting on a good product.
Yeah.
They were putting on
And
a
we
really good
enjoyed
product.
it.
They put together that heavyweight Grand Prix, which Daniel Cormier won. He was in that. Remember, Alistair Overeem was supposed to be in that. We
Think
had,
about all that. Fabricio Verdun was over there.
Mauricio was over there.
Fedor actually fought. in that
Fedor was actually
organization.
over there. So it's very interesting that this is kind of, these big tent items happen, but you also have some good fights. Melvin Manhoef's still over there.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of guys. I mean, we'll talk about this. That Gegard Mousasi, who just fought at 210, we'll talk about his fight. He's now a free agent.
Oh, is it now? I thought he had one more fight.
No, he's done.
So
that was his last fight.
Yeah, so him and Jacare.
It's possible could go. And
Okay.
Coker has already said, I'm interested in both of them.
Good. Bring them over. Have a belt match.
I mean, Bellator is putting it back to MMA the way that we kind of want it. That they're allowed to have their own sponsors. They're allowed to walk out to whatever they want.
Yeah,
They
but they're
can-
also into the big circus show.
We get
which
some of
is,
the big
which
circus
is
show.
kind of what was pissing us off. But I
But
mean,
it's
now
one
the
of those-
UFC's doing the same shit too.
Exactly. They're just doing it for the money too. So why not have at least one or two of those events? I mean,
You know who's keeping it real though? King of the Cage.
Always.
real fighters,
Real
Always.
fighters.
real talent, and they also are they're only putting together quality fights.
Right.
So
Deep roster.
speaking of UFC, we have Anderson Silva is without an opponent for right now for UFC 212. Allegedly, according to Mr. Luke Rockhold here, who talked to ESPN, he had an opportunity to fight Anderson Silva. He said he's down. And
Does it mean like thumb wrestling, or is this like the I passed him in the bathroom?
And apparently,
he said, "What's up?"
He goes, I don't think Anderson will fight me because he cherry picks his opponents. He's been doing it his whole career. And in fact, when ESPN reached out to Anderson's camp, he said, we're looking at different options. Luke Rockhold isn't one of them.
I don't know how he feels being called a cherry picker.
It's racist somehow.
Yeah, that's one field away
From
from
what
being a
I
cotton
heard,
picker.
also Anderson Silva said he's willing to fight Yoel Romero. Yoel
I've never
Romero's
seen those
manager.
on one field apart, by the way. I've never seen cherry fields and cotton fields next to each other.
Go down south.
Yoel Romero's camp said that Anderson Silva turned him down as well. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we're gonna have a fight. The last I heard, though, the fight that they are interested in, possibility, is Uriah Hall to fight Anderson Silva at UFC 212.
Then I have to go with the cherry picking then. Yeah.
Well, didn't he ask? He's also asked for Nick, right? He's
Yep.
asked for a rematch. He wants that rematch.
He
with
wants
Nick.
Bisping too. He wants GSP. I mean, obviously those tied up, but Nick's doesn't seem like he's interested. He's busy at the Candom's Cup.
You know what? With
Yeah.
GSP, I'm almost believing Dana. I don't know if he is going to come back because now I hear it's pushed off past October.
Well, that happened to Ronda. She came back.
Yep. I got a burrito out of that. A little more news before we jump into UFC 210 and the recap that is. Demetrius Johnson has a little message for his UFC bosses. He wants his belts. If we've listened to Dana White before, and in fact this happened with the whole Conor McGregor thing, every time you win,
You get a new belt.
you get a new belt, and it's supposed to be engraved with the match, the title, everything on it. Demetrius Johnson is saying, hey motherfuckers, I haven't got another belt. I keep bringing my same belt every time, and they keep wrapping my same damn old belt. He's like, I'm tired of sharing it with my kids. I need all 8 of my belts. I've defended it. I want it.
I agree.
I agree too. He's like, DC has 3 belts. He's like,
But that's just so
GSP
you go
has,
all the way around
has
him.
8 belts. He's like, this is a bunch of crap. He's like, I want my 8 belts.
He got a belt size the size of the equator. He does need his 8 belts. And do you really want Demetrius Johnson showed up at your house? He's like an angry gremlin, man.
Yeah, see, all over the place.
if he-
Oh,
yeah.
I like how Cody Garbrandt called him out. Said, "I'll come down to your weight." And he's like, "Oh, no need. I'll come up to your weight.
I'll come to your way.
I'll come to yours. That way, if I do beat you, I'll just take your belt too."
Yeah, because he wants his belts.
Yeah, and then it'll be 9 belts that you got to give me.
They need to remake that Conor McGregor video of him stealing belts with Demetrius
With
Johnson.
Demetrius Johnson getting all his
You know,
belts.
Dana, you don't want him to come to your house, man. He'd be popping out of cupboards and shit when you get up to get your cereal in the morning.
Yeah, I feel bad.
Where's my belt?
I mean, we're all
Out of the
over.
toilet.
You know,
Where's my belt?
yeah.
Hamper.
Tape.
Where's my belt?
Everybody's all over
Glove
this
box.
guy's
Where's my belt?
nuts who's supposedly a 2-belt holder.
Make that one too, Tommy.
He's never defended one of his belts. This guy's defended his belt
Every time.
every fucking time. It's ridiculous.
All right, so we got to recap Bellator and UFC. What do you want to start with?
Let's start with Bellator.
Start with Bellator.
Yeah, with Bellator because UFC's just got
Got
so
a lot of
much
news to
shit
talk about.
it.
Yeah. So we had Bellator 176 that went down April 8th. You had on your main card there.
Mihail
Nika?
up against Samba Coulibaly, with Mihail winning. And then
Anaconda choke in 36 seconds.
That's quick.
Whew.
That's he sprung that on him. And then Valeru Mircea up against Jamil Chan
Yep.
with a majority decision in favor of Valeru. Anastasia up against Alina. Not even trying that one. With a unanimous decision in favor of Anastasia. And then Javier Cavallo going up against Melvin Manhoef.
Keeps his belt.
Keeps his belt with a KO in the 4th round right to the head. Head kick. Boom.
It was big. It
Boom.
was big.
Headshot.
Boom, headshot. So now we can go back to UFC 210. Do you feel like you got robbed of your pay-per-view money?
Well, let's get past the people that had regular fights.
Wait.
Let's start talking about before the fight even started.
Before the fight even started, obviously we had the weigh-in controversy. Weigh-in controversy of which we talked about on last week's show.
Talgate, yeah.
Talgate. Daniel Cormier has recently come out and said, "Look, I didn't even know what I was doing, man. I didn't know I did that.
You're right.
I don't know." He's like,
Do you not know the fucking rules? Do you not know how this game is played?
he's like, I was maybe it was resting my hands. He's like, I remember the first time I came out, they were trying to show my junk, so maybe I pushed it down so that they wouldn't show my junk. But I don't even remember putting my hands up. And if you look at my hands, I mean, obviously I wasn't doing anything.
As he's flexing and the guy on the end stressing.
I would believe it more if he at least had some kind of explanation as to why he lost 1.2 pounds in 30 seconds.
Hey, the guy from the California Commission wants to know why the fuck he was touching the towel.
Yeah.
Is it Towel Commission?
No, the California Athletic Commission
Commission says
watching the
we wouldn't
video.
allow
He's
it.
like, even if there is a towel in front of them, they're not supposed to touch it.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to touch anything.
Well, the guy,
Let alone lean on it like he's the neighbor for fucking Tim Allen on Showtime. Hey neighbor.
In fact, Anthony Johnson. Wilson. Anthony Johnson is trying to push for an appeal, saying they're asking for an explanation of weight loss under oath. And if it's unsatisfactory, they want him fined 20% of his purse and stripped of his title. Even though Anthony Johnson recently came out and said, I'm not in really for the money. I just want what's right. I just want it to be for what's right. He's like, I don't even need the belt. He's like, I lost the belt. He's like, and I lost my chance fair and square. But I want people to understand that
Justice.
we do this for what's right.
Yeah, because his first check in the NFL is going to be $660,000.
Which he's not even playing.
He's not playing. He's going to be part of the... I believe he's part of
training team or
the
something.
training team, yeah.
Yeah, allegedly.
Wait, really?
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Nice.
We don't know for sure or
coach,
not.
His coach Hoost says that's at least from what I know. I think he's just going to be on a non-playing role.
Wow.
He went out and tweeted, "I'm not playing for the Rams." Didn't say I'm not working for him.
Right. Right.
Just said I'm not playing for him. So yeah, it very, very strange.
We know something happened.
Something happened.
And we also had Boobgate too.
I mean, yeah, you have Boobgate, which we kind of mentioned a little bit earlier. I mean, even Daniel Cormier is trying to be like, something's wrong with the scale. I don't know. Like, my scale upstairs was different. I came downstairs, it was different. I was frustrated. I mean, and then you could tell, obviously,
But
his scale was messed up too. I don't know.
Nobody touches the scale.
Yeah.
He walks behind, comes back. Nobody
goes,
did anything to it.
I got an idea.
Nobody did anything to it. So in the back, this is what I'm assuming.
You pulled the towel.
That's what I'm
Pull
saying.
the towel.
And see, you hold the towel.
And if you notice, the guys holding the towel are on his team.
Right.
And
They're part of his team.
Yeah.
And then the other one, of course, is that the scale was off. And so when he came, wasn't off, it was reset or tampered with, which we just said we didn't see anybody tamper with it.
Right.
And that's why Rumble Johnson weighed in suddenly 1.2 pounds lighter than he was before. It's a mess. It's a mess. It should have never happened. And
it gets better.
On the pay-per-view, Magomedov Bibdutanov up against Janelle Lausa with a decision in favor of Magomed. And then you got Caitlin Chukagian gets a split decision win over Irene Aldana. Desmond Green gets a split decision win over Josh Emmett.
2 drinks, by the way.
2 drinks.
And Gregor Gillespie gets a KO at 21 seconds of the very first round over Andrew Holbrook.
Yeah. Anybody get the license plate of that truck?
Did you see those nights?
Yeah.
Oh, I got over here too late. I missed those ones.
No, it was on. Yeah, it was on
Fight
Pass.
Pass. Jumping on to Fox Sports 1. Patrick Cummins kicks off the night up against Jan Blachowicz.
Not pretty though.
Not pretty. Gets a majority decision. Now, how do you feel? Do you feel like it was in his favor?
Oh yeah.
Even though his face was a mess.
Just sloppily.
Just sloppily.
Yeah, both of them.
What the fuck happened to his wrestling? I felt like he went and trained with Matt Hughes.
Yeah, that's exactly
and was
what it
like,
is.
hey, you're a boxer now. You learned some boxing. You don't need to wrestle anymore. I did it my whole career. It's fine. It's no big deal.
Yeah, we see this happen too many times with guys. They learn to get a couple of hands, and all of a sudden they're wrestling. Oh, I don't need that anymore.
I don't need that.
That's what got you to where you're at.
That's payback.
But he ate everything. He ate hands and feet.
That's my fallback. I don't need to use it.
Could you imagine if Bruce Lee learned a takedown and all of a sudden decided to quit punching
Or kicking.
kicking? Yeah. Shane Burgos goes up against Charles Rosa and gets a TKO. At a minute 59 of the third round. Kamaru Usman, we know from The Ultimate Fighter, gets
I fell asleep during this fight.
a decision.
And I was at work.
I was in the middle of mixing a drink.
Making a drink. And I'm like, what is...
It's terrible.
Oh, sorry. Here you go.
Decision win over Sean Strickland. And then Miles Jury gets a TKO over Mike De La Torre.
Nice. He needed a first round finish.
And
He
got
was
it.
elbowing the shit out of him.
It was brutal.
Like
He
old
needed-
school
he
Tito
needed this-
Ortiz style. He didn't care if your arm was up. He didn't care what you were doing. He was getting in there. Like,
How long has he been gone? When was the last fight?
Like December 15?
Miles Jury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been some time for sure.
And then we kick off your main card, your pay-per-view, UFC 210.
Dude, Bronx.
With Dew Bronx
Go
getting
back to Bellator, Brooks.
getting a big win over Will Brooks.
He is also now suspended, by the way, because he jumped out of the
Fucking
cage.
New York.
Got suspended for 60 days for jumping over the cage.
Dew Bronx or Will Brooks?
Dew Bronx. Because he celebrated, jumped over the cage.
That's right. And then we had that happen last time they were in New York. Somebody else got in trouble for that.
Yep. And so he got suspended for 60 days because of it.
Dumb. In New York, though.
In
New York.
From fighting. So, I mean, if the other athletic commissions want to, adhere to it, they can.
If they want to. Thiago Alves retired Patrick Cote with
Patrick Cote throwing the gloves down.
split decision.
He's done.
Which is surprising to me because only fights like twice a year when they go to Canada. Or close to it. But hey, thanks for the career, Patrick Cote. This is the guy. His legacy is he took a fight last minute up against Tito Ortiz and almost knocked him out for the belt.
Yeah.
And that's what got him into the UFC. And
Or his fight with Anderson Silva that should have had a rematch, but he had the leg injury. Remember?
Yeah.
Technically, he was the first guy ever to go, what was it, 4 rounds?
Yeah.
4 rounds with Anderson Silva
And then he got
because
the TKO on
then
his
he
own
walked out
leg.
and he's like, ah!
Yeah. And he fell over.
And he never had a rematch.
So, thanks for all the years, Patrick Cote. We do
Thiago
appreciate
Alves,
it.
you're still around. That's good.
The fight that almost didn't happen, Cynthia Cavallo going up against Pearl Gonzalez, who didn't want to be known for her boobs and now is.
Oh, definitely.
So we got Cynthia Cavallo getting a rear naked choke in the third round at 3:45.
Yeah.
Gayard Mousasi up against Chris Weidman. This was
Another fight that has had some big controversy. So much controversy, in fact, that Weidman is trying to appeal the decision of what happened. So what we have happened is we have Chris Weidman playing the my hands are down, no my hands aren't, my hands are down game. Put 2 hands down, goes to lift one up. Gayard Mousasi throws the knee at the face, eats the knee. He's not crumpled. He's hurt, but he's not crumpled. The ref jumps in and goes, whoa.
Well, he got 2 knees.
He got 2 knees, yeah. He goes,
knees.
whoa. Says, I think those were illegal knees. You go take your 5 minutes. Walks over
to check.
Asks the other referee, which is sits on the outside, was those legal? He says those were legal. Now in New York they don't have instant replay.
No.
Apparently, but now they're saying yes they do.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It is allowable.
It is
It's
allowable.
allowable. Then why wasn't it allowable that night?
No, it is.
It is.
It is. So there's no basis for his appeal. So Weidman,
Do you not know the fucking rules? Do you not know how this game is played?
come on, buddy.
Well, no, I think he does have room for an appeal because the whole reason that the fight was stopped is because they were told that the ref wasn't allowed to restart it because there was no replay rule.
No, this fight was stopped because he tried to get the Mousasi disqualified by saying that the illegal knee made it to where he couldn't continue to fight. The
It would've
2
been
doctors
disqualification.
asked him 6 questions in a row. He refused to ask. The 3rd doctor comes to the side, asks the other 2 doctors, did he answer any of your questions? They're like, no. He says he can't continue. Then he comes back from the review, goes, hey, that was all legal. And he's like, now I can continue.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Gotcha.
There's even Middle Easy. Go to Middle Easy's page. They have YouTube.
That
videos.
was my point of view. I'm not saying that that's word for word, but
Yep.
but watching that night, that's what I took from it.
Well, then you got the video of him not even know what day it was.
Exactly. Middle Easy has the video where he walks over and, he's saying, they asked him what day it was. He doesn't know. They go over, you can hear Matt Serra, and then, of course, Ray Longo. And he's like, well, they asked him what day it was. He said he didn't know. Sometimes he doesn't know what day it is. Like, it's the whole...
And then Sarah's like, I don't even fucking know what day it is.
It's the whole question. No. It's got to be true or false. Don't ask him how many fingers. This man told us the fingers. True or false? True? He's good. So, and he's like...
But then I heard he was walking away.
And then Ray Longo's over there being like, he's a dirty motherfucker. Those were dirty knees. You know it was. You should be disqualified. Ray Longo goes fucking crazy.
But all the time, man.
I heard
Longo
somebody-
goes hard all the time.
Somebody was saying that they said, what day is it? And he said February. So I don't know.
We don't know.
So good, then he got knocked the fuck out by legal knees.
So this is what the Athletic Commission statement is.
Right?
Mr.
Yes.
Weidman was determined unable to continue to a match due to legal blows received resulting in a TKO. In New York State, it has been held that the commission may review video evidence in order to meet obligation to render correct determination. After the referee initially ruled the strikes illegal, he consulted with an alternate referee, also a physician assessment that Mr. Weidman, and determined that strikes were legal. During the examination by the commission and medical staff, it was determined he was medically unfit to continue, ruling a TKO.
Bam.
I'm fine with that because I didn't like the way that he was milking those knees.
I am in the exact same boat.
So fuck it, I don't even
You
care.
play in the game, you got caught. He said, "Oh, I can't continue. Like you're undisqualifying, right? I'll get the win.
I'll get the win.
Oh,
Right.
they're legal. I'm cool. I can fight. Oh, you're already calling it. What? So is it no contest?
So why
no,
are
you
they
lost
calling it?
TKO.
Why are they calling the fight?
But I wasn't done. Now I will give it to Matt Serra and Ray Longo, who said, you know what? He wasn't done. He seemed like he probably could have fought. Like they don't want to admit he was playing it up, but. Yeah, he probably could have continued. It wasn't like that. He wasn't.
No, he
unconscious.
knows he could have continued.
Right.
He knows he could
yeah.
have continued.
I don't have any doubt that he could have continued. However, you play the game. You play stupid games. You win stupid prizes, and that's what happened.
Exactly. So now here we go. They're going to try to, they're
And
trying
now
to
you
get an
gotta-
appeal. I don't think it's going to happen. I think nothing's going to come of it. Even Mousasi didn't seem happy with it. He's like, I'll fight him again. But later in the back, he's like, no, fuck that guy. Pretty much at the press conference, he's like, no, fuck that guy. He wanted to play the game. He wanted to say I'm dirty. No, fuck that guy. He's like, he lost. I'm done. He's like,
Do you understand the whole thing?
want
Like
bigger
when he's
fights.
like, "Well, should I bleach my hair and all that other shit.
He's talking about how he's like, how am I going to get bigger fights and how do I get paid more? He's upset Mark Hunt got paid a shit ton of money and has pretty much a losing record. And he's not getting the big money. He wants big money fights just like everybody else does. Now he's talking about he may go somewhere else. Dana White's saying, nah, don't worry about it. We paid him enough. He's going to be fine.
Dana White says he's not selling out arenas yet. 11 out of his 12 fights in the UFC, he's been main or co-main.
Yep.
And the only reason he wasn't on the main card for the 12th fight was because it was UFC fucking 200, where every
and he is saying, Dana White basically
card.
says, unless you're Conor McGregor, you're Brock Lesnar, you're Mark Hunt, who you have a whole country behind you, you're making all these money, people are buying the pay-per-view for your name, you're not going to make that kind of money.
Then explain CM Punk. CM Punk just came out and
He's
said
a
that,
name.
but he's not in MMA.
Doesn't matter. You know how many wrestling fans are there?
Buys, though, because of that.
Serious buys.
Yeah,
Again, you have to be a name to sell those pay-per-views. Again, we talked about this though before. Is this the direction we want the UFC to go? Not really, right? That's why Bellator is coming up. Even though we always joke that it's a B league, it's coming up because they're now actually starting to put on decent fights.
Yeah, they're putting together
and
really
fights
good
that people want
cards.
to and that people want to see.
And the more fighters that UFC lose, the more the circus shows we're going to see because that's how they're going to make up their money.
Yep, they have to. So we'll see what happens. Daniel Cormier defeats Anthony Rumble Johnson, submission rear naked choke. Second round, 3 minutes, 37 seconds. What the fuck was Rumble Johnson's game plan?
Well, it was to stand up for a minute, and then
For
it
what,
was to
2
wrestle.
seconds?
Yeah.
For 2 seconds?
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, we're going to wrestle him. We're going to try to out-wrestle the Olympian.
What do you think about his corner just giving up like that and walking away?
Because I guarantee you he wasn't following game plan. I guarantee you he wasn't following game plan.
Well, the statement from his corner isn't that from his coach. What's his name?
Hoos?
His coach Hoos said, and Anthony Rumble Johnson backed this up when he was in there calling for his corners because Hoos went back to go get a shirt for him. He didn't have a shirt, so he wanted him to have a shirt in the ring. And he heard him calling for him, came running down the ramp, and by the time he got back to the cage, he was already out of the cage. So he didn't abandon him. And Anthony Rumble Johnson has already come out and said, "No, we're good. Everything's cool."
Yeah, but the whole script from the time that he starts to lose are the two coaches talking to each other. What the fuck?
Again, I
what
believe
is
he's
what?
not,
Oh,
he's not
just
following,
like last time.
he's not following a game plan.
You know, and a lot of people are like, you know, the corner shouldn't do this and the corner shouldn't do that. These guys give up 10 weeks of their lives just like the fighter does.
Oh yeah, and the thing is they're from an outside perspective. Yeah, they're not in there fighting. They're trying to say, look, this is what we can see from the outside. This is what you should be doing. Not only that, but if you come up with a game plan, you get hit face one time or you get half a takedown, all of a sudden it's out the window. The coach is like, what the fuck did we train for?
Yeah. Where do we spend all this time training you?
So,
well, obviously Anthony Rumble Johnson's head wasn't in the game anyway because he already had another job offer somewhere else.
That's very possible.
You know,
that is very possible. I was really disappointed with his game plan, but he lost.
He lost. He retired.
And he retired. Yeah, and then he said, well, maybe.
Well, still.
No, yeah, he said he listed 1 or 2 fights that he would come back for.
He would
John
come back
Jones
for, yep.
would definitely be one that he'd come back for because he never got that fight because
Yep.
of whatever happened. So
What was the other one?
Daniel Cormier. How do you feel about Daniel Cormier? First of all, yelling at
Manawa?
outside the cage. You don't want this. You don't want this. And then goes and has like a dad moment with fucking John Jones and says, you know, get your schooling together and do your homework or whatever the fuck it was, and then you can come in here and come to class. Or
I would have just yelled, "Make weight!" Fucking
he is
make
your
weight.
official 206 champion. Just saying.
206.2. You know, just like the marathon runners.
We
The
have
sticker on the back of the
Yeah,
car.
that's what Cormier needs. 206.2.
Bellator 177 is going down today from the Budapest, Hungary. They will be going live on, I don't know if it's live, I think it's tape delay, on Spike TV.
Is it at the Grand Budapest Hotel?
Yeah, your main event is a catchweight at 139. Eduardo Dantes going against Leandro Higo. Also check out Daniel Welch against John Texera, Adam Borix against Anthony Taylor. Again, all on Spike TV. And then we got tomorrow on live on Big Fox, the prelims, early prelims on Fight Pass. And then you have the rest of the whole rest of the card is going to be on Fox.
All of it's on Fox. All right, so Tim Elliott's taking on Louis
Oh,
Smolka.
stop down with the Ashley Evans Smith going against Caitlin Vieira.
Oh, look at that. Your very first fight of the night. Ashley Evans Smith
Yeah.
going up against Caitlin Vieira. Yeah,
This will be on Fight Pass,
it's
but
on
there's some
Fight
good
Pass.
fights here, man.
Zach Cummins takes on Nathan Coy.
I like that fight.
Anthony Smith going up against Andrew Sanchez. Devin Clark takes on Jake Collier. And Aljamain Sterling. Oh, wow. Okay. Going up against Augusto Mendes.
Who did a very funny video on how to make weight DC style.
Oh, there was
Sterling.
at least 11 or 12 very funny videos.
He was the first one to do it.
He was
though.
first
he was
one
the
to do it.
first.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of tweets, but he was the first one to do a video.
Good old Tim Elliott and Louis Smolka.
I like this fight.
Kickoff.
Go Tim Elliott.
Yeah, go Tim Elliott right there on Fox, the Big Fox. Bobby Hood Green going up against Rashid Magomedov. Hopefully Bobby Green can pull it together, man.
Yeah.
Patrick Williams taking on Tom Duquesnoy, and Alexander Volkov takes on Roy Nelson.
Who Roy Nelson recently came out and said he likes MMA, but he doesn't like to fight.
I don't like cocaine, but it smells good.
Sounds good.
I don't know, man. I tried sniffing coke once. Ice cubes got my stuck in my nose. I just couldn't do it.
Roy Nelson's like, I like fried chicken, but I don't like to eat. Liar. Jeremy Stevens up against Renato
Racist!
Marciano. Everybody likes KFC, man.
Bill Heaton Stevens. I like Popeyes better.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a KFC guy. Jacare Souza going up against Forrest's little brother, Robert Whitaker.
Jacare Souza, I believe this is also his last fight on his
Yeah.
contract, saying if he does not get a title shot, he will go into free agency.
Yeah, and he should.
I 100% agree with that.
Rose Namajunas is going up against the karate hottie Michelle Watterson. Michelle Watterson looking shredded for this fight. You got Michelle.
I got Michelle. I love
yeah.
Rose. I love Thug Rose, though,
Yeah.
man. She is awesome. But I just think Michelle Watterson's putting it together very well recently.
It's going to be, I think it's going to be a barn burner of a fight.
I think it's going to be a great fight.
And I think Rose Namajunas is going to be pretty bloody by the end of it.
All right.
Just because she doesn't mind getting in there, getting mixed,
Yeah, she loves
mixing
it.
it up and getting hit and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just think Michelle's just going to keep the distance with the karate. Once she kicks these girls in the chest, they really don't.
I think either way, both these girls are going to come out looking like they came off United Flight.
You think so? I haven't seen a lot of people get a hold of Michelle's face.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I got Michelle in this one as well. And then Demetrius Johnson, your champ.
Defending his belt again.
Nine-time
This
world
one's
champion.
hard.
Going
How's
against
that
Wilson
hard?
Reese.
Oh, I don't know.
DJ. All
Do I
day.
go with the guy who beats up everybody every time, or do I go with the guy?
Who's the heavy hitter?
Yeah, dude, this guy's got so many wins.
His last loss was
Wins
to,
the belt right there. Benavidez, right?
yeah, his last loss was to Dominic
1, 2,
Cruz.
3,
And was that a decision or was it
6,
a knockout?
7, 8, 9. Yeah.
When he lost to Dominic Cruz?
Cruz
Decision, right?
decision.
Yeah. And keep in mind, he lost to Dominic
Dude,
Cruz.
he lost to Brad Pickett
Back in the day.
He lost to
Different weight
Dominic,
class.
but he lost to Dominic Cruz before Dominic Cruz went
In
out on his
Sacramento.
injury for 2 years.
What
That's
the
how long ago it's been.
Yeah.
Wow.
Since he's dropped down to flyweight, he has not lost.
Hopefully, he gets another belt this time.
I got Demetrius Johnson.
All day. Again, that's on Big Fox. If you get a chance to check it out, then please do check it out. We got a breakdancing Jesus for Easter weekend as our background on Dodger's computer today. Big
Make sure
thanks
you hide your eggs, otherwise Jesus won't come.
Yep.
for Zombie. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends, and of course, like, share. Is that right? Click, like, share?
Yep.
Something like that? Yeah. And mymmanews.com. Check them out if you haven't had a chance. They do it 24/7. We do it once a week. mymmanews.com. You can find them on Twitter and Instagram, as well as us at SD_mymma. Split Decision MMA Podcast on Facebook, and our website, splitdecisionmma.com, and anywhere podcasts are broadcast. Big thanks for listening from the Ruloff Family Inc. Studios. It
Go
is Bueller and
Sharks.
Dodge. Go Sharks. Say
Sharks
it.
playing tonight.
Is it tonight their choke night?
Conference playoffs, sir. They're not choking. They won last night. Or the night before, excuse me.
So tomorrow could be their
No,
choke
stop it.
night. Have a good night. We'll see you at the fights.